Just stay focused. Just stay focused.
Waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reasons. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know, some I no longer reason. Still holding no grieving and striving to get to a place where they see that we overachieving. Holding no secrets, giving to all of my peeps in the gutter who struggle for decent. Puzzling pieces, trying to put them together. You know how they trying to hide it in times of silence. The hood be looking real hungry, you know they reside.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here again reviewing 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent. And we are on chapter 4.
Yeah.
50th Law.
Here you go. Right there.
So the book that we are reading, feedback from Generation X.
Generation Y, aka millennials.
Millennial.
The best generation, number one. We got some dumb ones in our generation. Generation Z.
Okay. So this chapter, we're on chapter 4. It's called Keep Moving, Calculated Momentum. I really liked this chapter. I really did like this chapter. I got a lot of things, and it went so fast, and I seen a lot of things in this chapter that applied in everyday life. So what I like about this chapter, I'm going to read what on page 93, what Miles Davis said. It says, the old musicians stay where they are and become like museums, pieces underwater, safe easily to understand, playing the tired old shit over and over again. Bebop was about to change, about evolution. It wasn't about standing still and becoming safe. If anybody wants to keep creating and it has to be about change. Miles Davis. And in this quote, when I hear this quote, I think about the IT industry. We're changing. It's evolution that has to happen. I cannot stay back in the day when we were writing COBOL. We're writing COBOL. No, right now, today, we're doing a lot of things, and it's really going to the cloud, understanding cloud technology, understanding different databases, knowing if you would look at what Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and also we have Microsoft Cloud now. So to stay and just worry about the languages that we learned 34 years ago, it will end up keeping me out of the industry. And then also dealing with what's happening now with COVID. A lot of people must become fluid. And this is the key word that I've been using all the time. When COVID came around in the educational industry, people were like, what's going on? I'm like, stay fluid. This is something very new. We don't know what's going on. And you're going to stress yourself out if you don't stay fluid. Just go with the flow and don't stress yourself out. What do you all think about that?
I feel like a lot of people are afraid of change, and they don't want to realize that change is inevitable. It's going to happen. You have to have that fluidity about everything. Like that's really is the main word. If you stick to the one thing, you're gonna let competition just tumble over you, and they're gonna destroy you. You have to be able to adapt to your surroundings. And people feel like that they're out of control. They have to adapt or change, or they have a certain mindset about something, but it has to be done.
I agree 100% with the thinking of the IT industry, and it kind of got me worried because it's like I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life in the IT industry, but I like learning. So I just had the exact same thought. So for anybody trying to get into the IT business, just know you're going to be learning forever. You're going to be in school the entire time. So.
Yeah, I thought of IT as well. I guess since everybody is like even like the leads at our job right now, like our manager like wants them to still keep learning because it's like I can't tell you your code is trash if I don't know how to do it myself. So like we got like different technologies that did come out and different I guess what you call them not platforms or architecture, the structure of it like all put together and everything. Another thing I thought about was music. Cause I know like I was like guilty of this as well. Like when the new music came out, I'm like, okay, this is trash. You know, like but just like the old, like in the 90s or the early 2000s, you got some good people like, and then you gotta learn how to listen to certain people too. I guess like especially with like the auto tune and stuff. Like Lil Baby, like he actually got talent, but it's like other rappers that use auto tune that like not that good. So I guess you still gotta listen to what they're doing instead of how they doing it. And I know Snoop Dogg is like someone who never like he was always cool with the new and the evolution of hip hop, even though it was going out. So he was even saying it like that, like you don't want to be like an old bitter rapper that just don't understand it. And he was like, I forgot what rapper he was talking about. What was it? Designer. That's that song Panda. I got bras in Atlanta. Like that's like the part everybody knows. Don't nobody know nothing else. But like but yeah, he was just saying that like he was like, yeah, just keep doing your thing. And he was saying like, cause when he first came out, they didn't understand him either. You know, like, and that they didn't want to listen to his story, not look at him. He like a whole household name. Like you using that to get there. So that's one thing about Snoop Dogg. Like no matter how much the evolution goes, even if you don't know it or anything like it, like he still understand that it's change that's happening. And you just gotta ride that wave.
And like Snoop Dogg uses it to his full advantage. He got gospel music, he has Spanish music, he follows everything. Like having an unjudgmental
He got a
mindset.
reggae album too.
Mm-hmm.
So another area, what I'm looking on page 95. It said, like you always saying, we gotta always stay fluid in what's going on. And one of my, I guess I can call him my peer now because he's been graduated. He has his bachelor's and has his master's in the IT industry already. So he has shoot, I don't know how many certifications. I think he got about 100, not 100, but he had over 30 certifications.
You talking about Marcel?
Marcel, yeah. So, and also about him. So, and I had saw one of his posts on Facebook, and somebody had came. I don't. You saw it too, Dre. Somebody ended up coming to him, trying to throw their degrees up in his face and showing what he knows and how he knows certain things. So this guy, which is most likely was a Generation X. So yes, you can listen to the older people, but your arrogance cannot make you stop learning. You need to. We also need to know how to still listen and learn to the younger generation. Me, I believe, and it's happening now. I believe the bubble is going to burst when it comes to higher education. People still might go, your associates and your bachelors and things like that. Or are you going to go get a certification? Because a lot of companies, they're not even looking at degrees anymore. They're looking at certifications. They're seeing if you have any type of portfolio put together. What can you do to move forward inside the industry? And a lot of people are jumping. So when people come, I just cannot stand it. And I always sit back and listen, and I don't say anything. And I see people, oh, I have 5 master's degrees. I'm like, okay, and oh, I have this and that. Okay, so what are you doing with it? And then I come on, I say, yes, how you doing? My name is Dr. Nichelle. So, oh, you got your doctorate, yes. In what? IT. So it's not a soft skill doctorate. So I could be very arrogant about that as well. But it just makes my skin crawl when I hear, like you were saying, Dre, you get to a certain age and you're like, I'm not listening to, even in the music industry, I'm not listening. And it's the same thing on education as well. See how you can be fluid to keep moving, because if somebody's younger, listen. It's who said that? Bill Gates. He said once he gets older, he will start listening to people much younger, because they bring in innovation. They're not stuck in the old way of doing things. So it's just sometimes we need to stay fluid. So that's that part right there. I was looking at the man's arrogance was increasing every day, and when your arrogance increases, guess what? Like it said here in the book, you'll get knocked down. You will get knocked down. Don't think you're too big to get knocked down.
Like if you look at like I saw like a part of the book that's like it goes along with that. It's more of like in my head turning something that you're not used to into a positive. Like that's why what the chapter's called like calculated momentum. If you look at all of the people right now that were born in 2000s, they're 18, 19 right now. They have never heard most of the songs we grew up listening to. But when you think about it, that creates a creative mindset. Like how you said, it creates innovation. They've never heard something like that before, have never done certain things that we would have done. So their momentum is skyrocketing, and they're the ones that's going to really take over. Everyone that's older now, there's only so much you can do. It all starts with the younger generation. You have to always follow off of what they're doing because what they're doing is going to be the next wave.
Yeah, it's kind of like right now, like somebody who 19, 20 years old, they probably don't even know what it feels like to have a regular fight. And somebody not yelling "World Star," like there was a day and age where it wasn't no social media. Like even like 10 years ago, like YouTube, like it wasn't booming like it is right now. I think I think it was like a Fabulous song or a song that like Fabulous made with somebody. He was like, "Oh, these broke dudes, they just trying to get some YouTube views." And it was like a shot back then because it was like 2008 or something. Like people, I guess, was just starting to put videos on YouTube. But now, like 15, like 10, 15 years later, that's where most of the people got to get their videos from. Like you're not watching 106 in Park no more. There's no hits from the streets or in the basement or all these different shows that play these videos. Like so, like when it moves that way, so I'm pretty sure like he was just talking trash back then. I'm pretty sure he knows now, but back then it was like a joke or whatever. Like, man, you just putting something on YouTube trying to get views on there. But now, like this, it's like the main source of watching videos. But it's just that could show you, like even TikTok. TikTok came up through this pandemic. Like, I ain't know what no TikTok was. Now these dances out and everything, and I don't know. It's just some what you mopping? That's the mop.
like like it's like really funny to me because it's like again continuing momentum or calculated momentum. People like on the social media topic, I'm really big on social media. People think and people wish that it's slowing down. Like things like Twitter, they're saying, "Oh, that's dead. Facebook is dead." Here's the funny thing: it's just now beginning. So the adapting part, other than thinking or hoping for something wrong to happen, why not care and just go? It's about to grow. Why would I care about something that I don't have any control about? So you just keep pushing, keep moving forward.
I think it was like one part as well. I think it's page 100. I kind of highlighted the whole page. Like at the bottom, I can put a highlight right there. But it's saying like, okay, I'm just reading a little piece of it. This hunger for control, common to us all, is the root of so many problems in life. Staying true to the same ideas and ways of doing things make it that much harder for us to adapt to the inevitable changes in life. If we try to dominate a situation with some type of aggression action, this becomes our only option. All right, so basically it's just saying like, and it's like having such narrow option make it hard to solve problems. Forcing people to do what we want makes them resentful. So like it's like you try to do somebody something that you don't want to do, like you more than likely to be like, nah, they be like, you tell somebody breathe, and they go, like people like real resentful on being told what to do or how to do something, like when they have their own ideas or whatever. I forgot which flow they was talking about. I want to say like social flow. I'm kind of getting ahead of everything, but it was like giving an example of like, say for instance, you at work or something, like doing a project, and like the first thing to do, like they say that the manager wants to get everybody on the same page, but they said you should want the opposite of that, because everybody getting on the same page, meaning y'all have to agree on one thing, and it takes away your others' creativity as well as their enthusiasm and coming up with new ideas, because everyone has to be on this same page and thing or whatever. So
I'm
I
it,
understand that part is, and I agree 100% with that because that's the way I think, even when dealing with my students. And I'll give you an example. I had the students I'm gonna ask you all, what would you do? So I had students, they had a test, and I told them, okay, this is a test, and you can use any resource except for me. You can use any resource because I wanted to let them see and I didn't tell them why I wanted. I said you can use this is the final. You can use any resource except for me or the cheat site because I was monitoring what they were doing. So you can't go into what's those different cheat engines to type certain things in, but you use any other resources except for me to pass this test.
I would have had a
Why?
field day.
Huh?
I would have had a field day.
But why was the classroom quiet?
yeah, quiet. Yeah, if it's like you can use each other.
Yeah, they didn't realize there was a teamwork exercise.
It was a teamwork exercise. So even with that, making sure I'm not trying to make you conform to to me it was a real world type of exercise because when you work in
But
the real world.
they was conforming themselves, probably thinking like, because I remember when you first told me that, I'm like, could they use each other? You was like, yeah, like that was the point.
I said any resource. And I
Yeah.
just left it like that. I said any resource and I left it like that.
I feel like it may have came to the idea that people have that it's still stuck in their head as that's them cheating because they're used to them not being able to talk to each other. But then at the same time, you go against the grain already, mama. So it's like when it comes down to it, it's like break the rules, but you're following the rules, but teach them to be creative, teach them to think outside of the box and actually talk to each other. Because in real life,
Destroy the box. Ain't no box. Destroy the box.
like when it comes to real life, like when I'm at work, I have to talk to this person. I don't ask my supervisors. I ask the person that is on my team that started at the same time that I would have started. I ask all of them for answers. I don't ask the trainer or the supervisor or anybody else. Like you have to learn those real life talents.
You know, I'm finna say, because at work, like Google, my best friend. Like I always, when I first started, was there, I Google stuff here and once in a while. I'm like, yeah, I cheated to find the answer. And he was like, that's not cheating. Like that's, he's like, you're not in school anymore, man. Like you can use anything you need to get the job done.
Like when you say like destroy the box, like my idea of it when it comes to knowing how to do things differently, and now my job's doing this and having everyone do this because we are customer service. I had someone that called in and we didn't have their item, but they're supposed to receive it. I'm like, oh well, it's on Amazon. Most people will be like, oh well, you're putting them to competitors. No, I'm being the person with integrity and isn't afraid of my own abilities because they're gonna come back regardless because of what I just did. You have to like have that kind of mindset.
Yeah, still put them on game.
That was one of the things that I really liked about being in the Marine Corps and being an administrator was there was always an answer for everything in an order and manual somewhere, down to how to tie your shoes. So it was fantastic. The answer is always out there. You just have to look for it.
With that, I want to go back to page 96 because I don't know why I got it. I have it underlined with red and green, and I have stars next to it. So I believe it was something very important to me. At the bottom, on page 96, you say, he let those who work for him do things on their own time. I guess it's going back to what Dre was saying, as long as they produce results. He wanted a little friction as possible. He never stayed tied to one venture, one partner, one way of doing things for very long. You keep moving. So you being fluid. So, and what I've found out, when you are not being fluid and things like that, that's when your down comes. So as long as you're looking and you're keeping an open mind to seeing another way of doing certain things, because you're not, only a fool believes they know everything. So yeah, that's what so let's go back to go back to the 100 page.
I can't remember like, mama, like when I used to get like on math and stuff, I get the answer right, but then the teacher be like, nah, you supposed to do it this way.
I actually highlighted that here because because the teacher, you was doing it one way, and I had remember I had to come up to the school, and I talked to the teacher. I said, "Does the methodology work every time he does this?" He was in 3rd grade. She said, "Yes." I said, "Have you tested the methodology?" Yes. I said, "So it works, right?" Yes. I said, "So why are you trying to make him do it the way you're doing? You trying to keep my child in the box?" "Well, he needs to learn the foundation." I'm like, "No, he has the foundation. His mother is a math teacher. He knows what he's doing." So,
Hey,
so that
remember they used to call you like, man, you thinking I was gonna get in trouble, and then they get in trouble.
and then what I believe what happened there, if I would have told Dre, you need to keep it the way that they're talking about, you would have never worked on that team. What you worked on the team with Tulane to create, he ended up creating a methodology to measure the freak waves in the ocean.
Oh yeah, so,
so he would never thought about, okay, I can create a whole new methodology. I think they got it published as well. So that would have never happened. He would have thought, okay, you know what? The teacher says do it this way, and this is the only way to do it. I'm gonna keep it like that. No, I teach Dre and Royalty, find a way to go against the grain. I actually was looking for them to become adolescents to do what they supposed to do, and okay, go against me. Dre did it a little bit too much. Aki didn't do it, but
on page 100, I have highlighted, the harder we try to control things in our immediate environment, the more likely we are to lose control. And this one hit home for me because I have anxiety, so I always try to control every little thing in every situation that I possibly can. And doing so, it does not always work out to plan, even if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different backup plans. So you just have to be fluid and relax and be willing to change. So that one I had highlighted.
And I understand when you're talking about that. I guess that's an IT way of thinking because we always look, and also military, we also looking for different avenues of approach. If plan A doesn't work, plan B. But it never works out the way you want it to work out. You can see it in your mind on how things are going to work. But even at this age, I'm like, wow, it didn't work out. But at least I have some type of direction, and I know it's not going to work out. I just have some type of direction. I'm like, okay, it's not going to work out like this, but at least I have a plan.
I kind of expect stuff not to work sometimes, especially like when you do code. Like, I already know the first time I throw it out there, something gonna be wrong. It's gonna be something I didn't think about. Just getting it out there. You might just learn something from it. It might just be a botched job, but you know what not to do, or maybe you just before your time on a lot of stuff as well. Like certain methodologies, like they work for so long that like nobody ever goes against them, or you know, like I said, you may not have the technology yet. Kind of like when I was talking about the thing with the turkey in the oven. I think I said that like a couple episodes ago. Like you're doing it this way because they've been doing it for so long, but now you have a oven that's big enough to take the whole turkey, so you don't have to cut it in half. Like, why are you cutting it in half for? You know, because my mama told me how to do it. And her grandma told her, her mother told her. So now you just blindly following something. Like even with like gangs and stuff, like a lot of them probably don't even know their history, so they just the GDs and the Mo's and the Crips or the Bloods, like you beefing with like somebody and you don't even know why. Like you just okay, I'm just supposed to, you know, like instead of knowing like the history behind it and everything that goes in. Because then like if you know the why behind a lot of stuff, like then they can say, okay, this why they did it this way, this why we're doing it this way. So it's kind of like with like basketball players now, like how Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, and all of them are like friends, and LeBron James. But like the older generation, like Barkley and Mike, they like I could never been friends with them. Like we competitive, but they're still competitive today. The thing is there's social media now, and a lot of these people have been playing basketball on AAU teams since they've been little. So they actually grew up with each other and had a relationship. It like only way you was friends back then is if you was just on the same team in the NBA. So like as much it may not look like that as competitive as it, but that's because they grew up with each other. You know, like so it's a lot different than the way they came up. So it's like apples to oranges. You really can't compare their competitive style with their competitive styles and how they're friends because like they didn't grow up the same.
I agree on that part. So I'm going to look now to page 102, and it's still talking about fluidity. And have you all noticed every time, let's look at slang. Every time another culture learns our slang, we change it. Or another age group learns the slang, we change it. Because if I was the
What
slang.
dancing?
He's like, okay, the wrong people. Okay, my mama's saying those words now. We got to change what it means, and we got to use another word. I can't be doing the same thing. I can't be saying the same word. Even with Facebook, people like, okay, my mother and my grandparents are now on Facebook. We're moving over to TikTok and Instagram now. So when the change it happens, but I mean I love a lot of my students, especially the high schools, when I teach the high schoolers, they be in shock that I have an IG page, a TikTok page, a Snapchat page, but that's because of he's like, this is like social media. Okay, for real, let me download it. Now how do I do it? What I need to do next? And things like that. So I'm listening still to the younger generation to keep me current.
And like here's one thing that's really funny, and I just want to throw it out there. People are so into competition naturally, are so needing to be right. They don't even understand the same person that owned Vine owns the American side of TikTok. And the same person that'll take over if TikTok goes away out of America is the same person that was running it. And now he has his own app. Like people are so wanting to be competitive, wanting to go against the grain. Some of them want to have a momentum, but it's not calculated. They don't know how they're moving. They don't know what they're doing with it.
Real good chapter. Okay, I circled page 106. What do you all have on 106? Did you all circle it? How did you all look at 106? I don't know why I circled it. Do y'all have any highlights on 106 at all?
Yeah, I got some highlights. It kind of go from 105 though.
Okay.
He said this was go on until. Okay, I guess it ain't gonna make sense if I say the part before. But basically, when you go with the flow, it's basically saying that people tend to look over your rough patches, and I don't know, like you might not say, like say for instance, like you 90% good and 10% bad. Like they'll look over the little things that you do that's wrong, but that also happens in the other way. Like if you go against the current, then people will actually see that 10%, like it'll be more out there, you know, like.
Yeah, like when you was in high school, you was in a Spark group, but when you did stuff bad, they overlooked it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's an honor student, but he outside skipping classes smoking. Oh, he'll be okay. So you didn't get in trouble for the stuff that if you was not an A student, you were not part of the smart group. You're part of the top 5% National Honor Society smart group. So when you did something bad, it was like, oh, he's just being creative and he's just being innovative and he's just testing stuff out. And yes, because I don't know if my mama's still watching this, but remember, I remember when you was drunk. You called me drunk. He called drunk about 15 years ago. And I will always remember this. So I called my mama. I said, Mama, Dre called me drunk. Oh, okay. I said, no, he was drinking. She said, what was he drinking? I said, he was drinking 151. She said, oh, tell him to burn it next time. He's just being very, what did she say? He's just testing stuff out and he's just finding certain things. He'll be okay. But if you were a bad kid, maybe get him, don't do that. But since you was straight A, did what you were supposed to do, you couldn't do no wrong. Not
like what's it called? What I had underlined on the next page, it kind of went. It goes along with that, and it's saying to understand the momentum in life comes from increased fluidity. Because in all actuality, like everyone, people may think what Dre was doing was bad, but in all actuality, he was being fluid. He experienced more than some people would experience. Like how you said before, a comparison. Your A students are the ones that struggle in the field. Your students that know what struggle was, and they're probably the same ones that actually go against authority, and they're the ones that do the best in the field.
Page 107, I have this top paragraph highlighted. And I like how he did it in this book when it was like understand. And so, okay, now watch this. He started going into the 4 types of flows of talking about calculated momentum, what needs to happen. He said momentum in life come from increased fluidity and willingness to learn more, to move in less constricted fashion. So as long as you still stay open and like I'm looking at the live stream, your grandmother said you're never too old to learn. But at the same time, that's probably why she's the type of grandmother and type of mother she is. I never hear her talk down about a generation. She always would say, well, we did that in our generation too. I don't know why people talking about this generation. So I'm liking to see she's a different type. I mean, you might have some more other grandparents like the way she is, but like my mother's 70, she'll be 72 years old. And she understand how it is to be, she remember how it is to be 50, she remember how it is to be 30, and she remember how it is to be 20 years old. So when doing that, we end up applying the lessons, and we still not saying we disrespect the elders, we still respect our elders, but our elders still understand what needs to happen to move forward, and they give us feedback. So I have not heard anything like Mimi just said. I've not heard any, we don't talk down about the younger generation. We look at what the younger generation is doing and we embrace the younger generation. We don't see, oh, well, we didn't do that at my age. I've never heard my mother say that. I have never heard that. And since she never said, I'm not saying it. I'm looking at, okay, what can I learn from the younger generation?
Like it's kind of like I feel like and Mimi said my family is cooler than yours. like when it comes down to everything, like, and I have heard people that are in the older generation that say, "Oh, why is this going on?" But I feel like they don't understand evolution. We're really doing the same things that was done in the other generation. Like with the thing with Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, people going, "Oh, that's horrible." Have you heard the songs in the '70s? Like we're doing the same thing. It's just now it's being a lot more noticed and pushed on. We got social media that's running things up, giving people a different freedom of speech. So it's
mental flow. So what do you all think about mental flow?
The main thing I got out of it is like we was talking about with school and being placed in like these boxes. They want you to concentrate on one specific thing and become strong at that thing. Who was Leonardo da Vinci they was talking about? Like how he didn't go to a school like that, so he started studying different arts, and they ended up going over to like architecture and things like that. So it's kind of like you a jack of all trades when you just let things flow with each other, and instead of thinking about how they're different, think about how they're the same. So like when I was doing like in school, I was doing engineering, and which also used physics, which also was chemistry as well. So these like 3 different subjects or whatever, but just trying to think of it like that. So when I'm making like talking about these magnetic equations and putting these stuff together, I'm like, oh, they're using copper, they're using this, and this is something from chemistry, like, so it's like everything kind of like interconnect with one another. So you gotta like learn how to look at things like that, as well as keep that, don't put I guess box or categorize like certain people like say like they're an artist, like, or you be like, I'm a rapper, like, but like as an artist, it's a lot of people who play different instruments. They sing as well. They do a lot of other things that has like things in common with it. So like, what's the one dude, Lil Nas? We had the little country song.
No,
And
yeah, nah.
he went against everything.
Mhm.
He actually went outside and I'm about to bring up, and I told when I was reading this chapter, I end up sending Marcel a message. I'm like, chapter 3 is about you, especially this part, because not only is he in IT, he's huh?
Oh, chapter 4.
4, we're on 4. Okay, yeah, chapter 4. So Marcel, not only he's in IT, he's also a beat maker. He's in the music industry like you, Dre, and he also is a cook, a chef. He has created different type of spices and stuff that he has his own way of creating spices. Then he's in real estate, so he has all these different type of areas that he's part of, and he's finding the commonality. I don't know how you're gonna find the commonality. I'm just watching, sitting back, watching and seeing what he will do, but the drive and the ambition that he has, and he doesn't put himself in a box. If he would have put himself in a box, I'm gonna say IT, he would have never went over. But his favorite artist is Juicy J. I guess that's what he's always talking. He's always talking about Juicy J. I'm like, I don't even want to listen. And then I don't even want to listen to Juicy J. So and then he talked about what's the artist, and I didn't know about this artist until he died. He passed. What's his name?
Oh,
Nipsey. Yeah, Nipsey. And I'm listening to his stuff. I'm like, wow, this is some powerful stuff. And then Marcel gonna say, well, Nichelle, Nipsey got me through a lot of your classes. I'm like, okay. So that's that part, not being placed in the box. But we always hear the older people always tell you, oh, you are the jack of all trades, master of none. But why you gotta be the master of, I don't understand that. It's like you're getting shunned upon if you are the jack of all trades. But why can't you know multiple things? Why can't you find the common thread to the different type of tasks that you're learning?
because people
It's
are
like
so like,
put a finite number on how much how much knowledge can go around. Like you building an NBA 2K player. Like you can only have so many attributes in each one.
and like I feel like it comes from a sense of hatred. People look at it and go, you're cocky, you're conceited, you're arrogant because you think you know it all. But those people like that are really the jack of all trades, they understand they don't know it all, and they want to know more. So they tell you what they know, not to be cocky or arrogant or anything, because they want to hear your input so they can see a different point of view of it. Out of the having hate towards it, why not join in on it? Out of the I feel like the ones that say, we're not the jack of all trade, we're the master of none. Like, okay, so you're the kind of person that wants the entire cake. You don't want to give anybody else a slice because you actually hold arrogance to the point to where you don't even want to accept what they're doing. And that kind of leads into the emotional part, to the emotional flow, to be honest to me.
And then like with emotional flow, like that's what they're saying. Like we are emotional creatures. So I guess like knowing when to locate when it is going on is identifying it when it happens is, I guess, the first step. Like I said, like you go have emotional roller coasters on certain things, and just basically just rolling with the flow of it, like learning how to forget, learning how to move on things, which is obviously easier said than done. But you got to see like what, because like a lot of people when they want to control you, like emotion is like the way to do it. Like they got you mad at something, or what you mad at today, like that's like losing control. But yeah, just basically learn how to forget, really. Because if you letting that control you, like if you have failures, disappointments, or things don't go your way, then you tend to stop moving forward, or you tend to be at a standstill.
I think that's the emotional one is one of the strongest one in here that we have to figure out how to understand. I'm not going to say control, but to understand, like you had said, is to understand, quickly move past the feelings. I don't know who told me this, but it's like, if you never go to bed angry with somebody, with this person that you love, just find ways getting past that particular feeling. Just get quickly past the feeling. And like I said, to combat this, you must learn the art of counterbalance. When you are fearful, force yourself into a bolder fashion. So you're looking for ways and talking about the strong power of hate, and understand how to get past that type of emotional feeling. And also, when you're hating, I believe your focus is on that person. That's why I tell people, I'm like, I don't hate anybody. No, okay, yes, they did that. Guess what? They control, alt, delete. Control, alt, delete. You do not exist in my life. I don't know you. So I'm not giving that type of energy to you in order to be inside of my life.
Like hating one person takes way too much energy, takes too much time, takes away a lot of your focus, and you lose all control just from hating that one person. Now, like how we said on the last chapter, now everything, I think Dre said it. Now everything that that person does because you hate them, no matter if it's good or bad, you now look down upon what they just did. Now they control every action.
You know, they come up with $1 million idea right now. You be like, nope, nope.
So I got a question, because I know this idea, this chapter hits home. I know it hits home with me. How can you use this chapter in your personal life? What can you do in your personal life to apply? How can you apply this chapter in your personal life?
I mean, like, this chapter is basically life. Like, like, like I said, like, kids not going outside no more. Everything is like virtual, online. And yeah, it's kind of like forcing your hand as well. Like, companies that didn't have the work from home technology, they wish they had it now. You know, like it came quicker than expected. Like, I kind of like last chapter as well. Like, but it was shit in the sugar or something like that. So now, like, even my company, like, we always had the ability to work from home, but they didn't want too many people working from home because they didn't know if production was gonna drop or not. So that fear that they had, boom, you know, like all of a sudden, boom, like now you gotta do it. So even though that they probably want to have everybody working virtual before this pandemic, but then it kind of like forced their hand to do it. And sometimes, like, it takes that sometimes, you know, like to learn how to swim, sometimes you gotta get pushed in sometimes. Sometimes you scared to jump, you know, like it's cold, you know, you get pushed in or something.
Like this is how we were talking about the true blessings behind COVID happening, forcing people to start opening up their mind and start understanding different ways. Like with this chapter in real life, I feel like being susceptible to change is really the biggest thing. You have to be able to change. And anyone, like right now in COVID, anyone that wasn't able or that wasn't wanting to change when it comes to working from home or doing anything from home, they're now being left behind because they didn't want to adapt.
For me, for this chapter, it made me think of things not only as an employee, but as a wife and now as a mother, and how I can apply it to be better for myself and for everybody around me. So it's kind of like a little mental checklist of things that I should be doing and just how I can be a better person. So.
And with me, with this chapter, is staying fluid. I try to stay fluid on everything, continue learning something new all the time. And also on the emotional side, I always say, if something bad has happened, okay, what lesson can I learn from what's happening? What lesson is in this particular item? Or if I get stuck, I'm stuck. Okay, why am I stuck? Well, if I'm stuck, that means I need to change something. So I also believe if you end up being stuck, there was some type of sign that you were supposed to change, but you didn't change. So now you're stuck. So it's forced, like how Dre said, you are forced to change now, because now it's like you're stuck or you at that emotional roller coaster and things are not moving the way you need it to move. It comes to the point I was like, oh, the devil is busy now. I'm like, no, look at what is going on. Why is that happening? Were you supposed to make adjustments a week ago and you did not make the adjustment a week ago, and life start happening to it, make it start happening to you. The last section, I like how he brought the prince in. Y'all know who the prince is? Machiavelli. He brought him. Say again.
Say Hail Mary.
So he brought the prince in. He said, whenever you feel rooted and established in a place, that's when you must be afraid. That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically, when you're comfortable, that's when you're supposed to be like you're fearful the most.
Mm-hmm. You're too comfortable. Why are we we need to change. Something is about to blow up.
But they say prepare for war during your downtimes.
Mm-hmm. Prepare for war during peace.
Yeah.
So that part. So thank you all who listen. Anything else so we can go ahead and close out?
Cause like, and then it's the way we taught as well. Like we taught to be in this box. We taught to in school. You supposed to stand in line. You have a specific schedule. You have this right here. You go to this. You know, like so you're really raised and taught to be a worker. Or go to prison.
For the cultural flow part, millennial here, I just want to say, what does it say? Charlie Parker? I never heard of him. And I guess he didn't change, and that's why I never heard of him. He was not fluid. Miles Davis, I've heard of him. I've heard of him 10 times over. So it works. Living proof.
All right. So thank you all for listening who listened. Next chapter we are doing is chapter 5. Again, those who want to join us, you're welcome to join us. She can say, what it said, know when to be bad. There you go. So she got the, see, I ordered the wrong book. Go put y'all book up. Put y'all book up. See, yeah, I ordered the wrong book. They sent me the wrong book.
Well, what book you got?
Mine don't have the blue page, the black page.
It's still saying the same thing.
I know, but you all have the hardback. Right. So know when to be bad, aggressive. So
All right, y'all. Yeah.
all right.
And scene.
Waiting to get in this game, could barely keep up with the reason. Been focused on eating and keeping my family together. You know,